Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. We've got a neat story to share with you today. It's about a commercial feed company that's sprung from a pork production system in northern Indiana. And here to tell us more about that is Jon Hoek with Wallace Performance Solutions. Welcome, Jon. Great to see you.
Good to see you, Sarah. Thanks for the opportunity to share our story.
For those of you that are joining us here today, we thank you for taking the time to tune in. If you have any questions, feel free to post those there in the chat area on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're joining us from social media, simply post your questions directly in those channels. So, Jon, you're no stranger to the pork industry, and you've long been instrumental in bringing unique ways of thinking and concepts to the pork and feed producing companies involved in that sector. Talk to us about what it is that you're doing now with Wallace Performance Solutions and what role you're playing.
Sure. I have known the Wallace family for probably 30 years. They formerly were a customer of mine in the genetics business, and had really, the company started in 1983 with 5 gilts and a boar and a loan from Grandpa, and always milled feed on the farm. And a tornado came through and took out the on-farm feed mill, and which led to a more commercial type mill, um, and had one customer for many years that they scaled with. And as that company scaled, that customer ended up building out their own feed mill, which required Wallace to diversify into dairy. And before you know it, there was a fairly sizable commercial business that had grown from a simple mill on the farm to now a very robust dairy hog business. And my role is to help them navigate the waters of, professionalizing and marketing and getting their name out to the community.
So really what led to the decision to kind of move in this direction was the fact that they had the facility built and they were able to move in that direction fairly easily. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, and I came in where there's a really robust business here. Some fairly large dairies, pig companies, integrated pig companies that are buying feed from this feed mill. But I was talking to a producer who was 30 miles from the mill, and fairly sizable producer that had never heard of them. And so, because in the past, they always, Steve Wallace had told me that all we had to do is answer the phone and take orders. And now we want to really expose, the professionalism of this mill and the quality that this mill has had, and so really undertook a rebranding. It was formerly Wallace Pork Systems, and we rebranded to Wallace Performance Solutions. Because we want to as we look at our value proposition, we want to widen that to potentially other solutions around human capital, around technology adaptation, and really work collaboratively with the producer to provide solutions and solve problems.
Did they have to do any modifications to kind of make this move more onto the commercial side, say adding any equipment or securing any kind of delivery trucks or anything like that? Any big modifications that were necessary?
Yeah, there was some capital investments in microsystems and logistics software. Right now, we're doing a human resource kind of revamp from the standpoint of organizational structure, helping us understand the different departments, providing some feedback loops. We're putting in scoreboards throughout the mill on the production floor. We're moving very quickly into manufacturing technology solutions around measuring OEE, which is overall equipment effectiveness, in both trucks and mixing sequences. We added some texturized calf feed capabilities and have a really growing calf feed business all over the state of Indiana and southern Michigan. And a lot of forward movement. We've got a great staff here. The culture is good. And it's been really fun to watch things blossom over the last 6 months.
So let's talk about that a little more because I know that's one of your areas of specialty, that whole staffing and just, the culture within organizations. So I mean, it's a pretty big shift in mindset from,
Yeah,
okay, we're just producing on the side, maybe for a few customers and our own animals. And now we have to be, customer focused. We have to be available when they need us. We have to know how to answer those phones and communicate with folks. So what is being done to actually kind of shift that mindset of the team there to be more customer focused?
sure. Um, Many of you may have known that I had done some of that consulting in some previous positions with Summit Smart Farms, and one of the technology platforms that we use is called Cloverleaf, which is a human capital assessment that combines all of the assessments that are out there, the Myers-Briggs disc, and puts them in a dashboard and actually makes them active on a daily basis. I get an update every morning on my staff on the various personalities, traits, key suggestions on how to deal with people. And I'll give you one example at our executive leadership level here. There was a wide variety of personalities from high D's where they're really aggressive and lean in, and then there's some folks here that are very very passive and quiet, and it really has helped uh, those individuals understand each other better and has brought the team closer together. And so we're working our way through the staff with that type of technology platform. And it's really industrial psychology and understanding what makes people tick and how to put them in the right seat on the bus, and then also how to measure with a scoreboard. Everybody wants to know how they're doing, and so that's where the digital scoreboards on the production floor come in. And so those are the types of things we're doing. It's very, very in our early stages, but we are moving very rapidly into high levels of visualization of key metrics.
So has the existing staff been fairly supportive in this whole shift, or have you had to deal with kind of a lot of situations in that regard?
Um, there's questions, but most people in our group here have been pretty receptive to it, and we've got a lot of 10-year plus people here. We've got truck and transport drivers have been in short supply. We have had a lot of success attracting those, primarily over the road drivers that want to stay home, and so it's gone quite well. We are in a perpetual state of recruiting, and so we just acknowledge that we're going to be recruiting, and that's been yielding. It's slowing down a little bit now, but yeah, I think we filled 4 to 5 truck transport positions here in the last 3 months, and it's gone quite well. But generally, people want to be recognized. They want to know they're doing a good job. They want to know what they have to do a good job, and that I can feel the team coming together nicely.
Well, and it sounds like you're doing everything you can to kind of bring them along with you and to be
Yep.
involved in that as opposed to here's your new job, go do it. You're getting
Right.
input and you're putting people in positions that make sense for their personalities and where they want to be. So that's probably also very helpful.
Yeah, and a good friend of mine had a saying: "You can't lead without love." You have to really you have to care about people. I think the other thing is nobody will love a company if the employees don't love the company, and so um, you can have the best product in the world, but it's really tough to convey that excitement. Well, you can't convey that excitement if your employees don't share that, and so that's what we're working on. It is a new venture for them, and that's been rather interesting. But we've seen people just rise to the challenge, and so to me, that's what gets me excited almost more than anything else is to see people thrive.
Well, and you all made a big deal of this too here this month with an opening, a grand opening, I believe it was, and you invited the community in to see
Yep.
and to share, and that also has benefits from an employee standpoint as well as community relations, which I know you're also very big into.
Sure, you bet. We had a glorious day. We had 150 people there. Lieutenant Governor spoke on behalf of the Department of Agriculture. We had Don Lamb, who was the director of Indiana Ag, and we had Senator Todd Young's office there, Senator Ed Charbonneau. We had, really what helps a company succeed is great relationships with vendors. We had many of our vendors who supported us in that event. We had many of our customers there. And so, really, business is done with people and relationships. And we wanted to celebrate that. And we did celebrate that. It was a great day. And really, it gave us a little bit of the exposure we needed because what's really ironic, this mill is at the end of a dead end one lane road in the middle of Pulaski County, Indiana, whose senator and representative, um, first time they've been here, but we just haven't been that public. And so it was really neat to see people understand who we are, what we're doing, and 35 employees. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's not an on farm mill anymore, and um,
It's
so
it's
that was fun.
not that odd building at the end of the road that we don't know what they do back there, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, most don't even know it's here, so that's the interesting thing. So
Very neat. That's great, and that also helps with the hiring process, and again,
yeah,
employee morale and culture overall as well.
you
So,
bet.
John, any kind of words of wisdom that you would give others, perhaps that are looking to move to more of this kind of model, or just basically, need a little assistance with building that culture, building that team, because that is so important these days.
Yeah, I think that in general, we believe that the company is built on the people. You have to have engaged people. Empirically, that's been proven uh, that a organization that is healthy culturally will be healthy financially. McKinsey and Company has done a lot of work in that area, and so and a lot of that is pretty basic. It's recognition. It's caring about people, not only people that work life, but their home life, their family, and all those things lead to culture. And you have to give them the right equipment, the right tools to work. And so all of those things lead to strong cultures. And there's tools out there, whether it's Cloverleaf or whether it's individual assessments like DISC, and that are all based on industrial psychology and help you um, understand your people better. And so we really believe that is a secret weapon sometimes in business that is often neglected, and believe that's very important.
That's your secret sauce. So I'm sure if anybody has any questions on how that works or how best to go about that, I'm sure you'd be willing to
Absolutely.
give them
Yep.
some guidance on that.
Absolutely. So
Very good. Well, Jon Hook, thank you so much with Wallace Performance Solutions. Get that brand right here as it rolls out new. We appreciate your time today.
Yep. Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for the opportunity, and we'll
We'll have
carry
to
on.
we'll have to come down and visit sometime.
Absolutely. So always welcome.
For those of you that are joining us, we thank you as well. We appreciate you tuning in and spending a bit of your time with us. A reminder that all Feedstuffs 365 segments are available online at feedstuffs.com. Simply go to Feedstuffs and click on Feedstuffs 365 in the nav bar, and you can get there. Until next time, for Feedstuffs, I'm Sarah Muirhead.